My name is India Sage Williams. I am a journalist, I am a writer, and a lot of people in this room probably have never seen me in this space before, but I'm also a poet. And many years ago, I started writing poetry and performing it, and it was my means of being able to express myself and to also be able to kind of escape a reality that I was living in, because I came from a very tough background in childhood. And so poetry was always my way of being able to share my pain. And now I'm able to do that and impact spaces like this and speak to people about things that matter and how it's affecting generations of people. I'm just so blessed to be here. This moment right now is amazing. And as I was sitting there, I was trying to figure out why I was so nervous. I couldn't think of exactly why, and I started to think maybe it's because I have to share a truth tonight. And I'm not sure how that truth is going to be received, but I can't be afraid to do those things, because Martin Luther King wasn't afraid to share the truth. And all of the leaders that came before him and myself weren't afraid to share the truth. And so I'm using that right now to kind of hold myself together and deliver this message. And before I begin, I want you all to just close your eyes. And I want you guys to think about the word hope. And I want you to think about what that word looks like and means to you. And I want you to open your eyes and listen to this poem. It's called Hope. They say I'm from Delaware and I'm not supposed to make it. And it pains me to say this, I almost get choked up. That Martin probably really had that dream at age 14 and only recently I just woke up. Just imagine, if I would have been had it, with my fist pumped, with my right hand in the air, no pledge of allegiance, I'm pledging to my people that I would never dare leave them. I'm a lead into the fact that growing up, most of my friends were convinced that to be from West Side, North Side, East Side, Southbridge is lethal. That if we laid down and had a dream on the sidewalk of Rodney Square streets, we'd probably get arrested right there or beaten like Rodney King. They say in the ghetto, dreams are illegal. We aren't even allowed to have dreams. And yet our marches still have to be peaceful, still wanting me to beg you to please don't shoot, even though you know you don't really have to. And not because it's the wrong thing, but because you're so sure that we believe we can't all make it out. Because he looks just like me. And he'll shoot me or I'll shoot him, and we're all one and the same, and if only one of us will make it out of this 1 in a million game, it's gonna be me mentality they're hoping. I'll turn to selling my body and he'll turn to selling dope, drugs, or weed. It'll be easier if we weed off each other, I used to think. That hope was under the covers of all of this. I used to think that it lurked somewhere that we really couldn't find it, like pain pills that never really take the pain away, or syringe needles that busted into too many veins in one day, laying on the devil's playground, next day found on children's playgrounds. I used to think that hope was somewhere swigging between the teeth of a homeless man that's under the bridge and has to stay warm in the winter, and without a comforter, that 40-ounce in Jackie D is the next best thing. I used to think that hope was in a classroom somewhere where there was a young body missing from a cobweb seat next to a window of endless dreams that Malik probably would have seen if he was just sitting in it. Drifted off daydreaming instead, trying to rep colors from a set that makes him bleed his loyalty or leaves him dead. Or maybe instead it was on the other side of the phone as a mother held her breath, thinking in her head, I need this cop to tell me he's anywhere else in the world but dead. I'll take jail, man, forget that, I'll go for him. But don't tell me that hope was between his last words to me of mama, I love you, and him saying only the streets got love for me. I used to think about where in the world could hope be hiding. What would it smell like, taste like, feel like, sound like? My brain is suffocating from the overload of the visuals of y'all goals. I'm about to explode. See, this moment right here isn't about being peaceful. See, I got a pumped heart in a cage, pumped and escaped, no longer a slave. My passion for life is like a game of Miss Mary Mack, hand clapping in my veins. I see it. Like just right there, I found it. It was hopping between the body of a black teen queen of Delaware and poured in the cup of Nasir's lemonade stand like just right there, I found it, hope. It was traveling through the electrical cord of Keith James' office, and he was only 19 with a telephone on the 5th floor of one of the largest nonprofits in the world. It was with me as I was Harlem shaking through the pressure, carrying my own weight through this weather, and this hasn't been the easiest joyride, but my community is who I do this for. I started to think maybe I should write the governor. Let him know that Check Rock in one village needs more support. See, hope is in the people. I tried to understand that, grab that, script that, scratch that. I took a glass of a gasp of air, and then I seen Marquand standing right there, and I had a double look. Because it almost looked as if he had two heads and one set of eyes, or one head and two sets of eyes. I had to have been in a dream. I saw his passion do a triple backflip out the casket they tried to put him in and upwoke Kadeem. I found it. Their legacies are the hope. And I started to think, well, what if the streets was something they really couldn't mess with? And what if we wanted to drop knowledge before we wanted to slam dunk in buckets? At 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, my mother told us not to speak to strangers. Who would have known 1 year later, at age 13, a stray bullet would have took my friend Jazzy and claimed her? We act like these street signs are our saviors, but they're not. They've been around longer than we have, seen more things than we have, watched our fathers get incarcerated and wave goodbye as our mothers went to rehab, but it didn't have the one thing we had, hope. But what's dope is, instead of choking on that mustard seed of faith, I'm focused on drinking it down with a glass of water that is fluid like my people. And I'm easily convinced that if you mix lemons with water, you make lemonade. And if I mix empowerment with my people, we make leaders. A generation of achievers facing adversity. Now gulp. Gulp it down. Don't just gargle it. Don't just swig it between your teeth and spit it out. We are the stained red juice that creates the pigment on your gums. We are the particles stuck in your molars that you can't floss out. And no matter how hard you try to get us on being focused on being flossed out, we are more than the statistics that try to claim witness to every killing but won't create funding for programs to fix this. We are not the problem. We are the solution. And all I had to do was create this poem to pursue them. Dreams are not illegal in our hoods. Tell them to stop saying our aspirations and powers are no good. And keep in mind that your mind is a stronger trigger than that slug cocked and fully loaded in your pockets. If you don't believe me, sit down and try it before you knock it. Don't just knock it before you try it. And if you don't change the people around you in a week, then come back and call me a liar. But if you do, then I challenge you to take it much further. Change yourself, change your mindset, find your purpose, and then you might as well change the world. If you know this song, sing it with me. If I rule the world, imagine that. I free all my sons. I love them, baby. Black diamonds and pearls. Could it be, if I could be, we both shine. If I rule the world, still living for today in these last days and times. Thank you so much.